You walk the halls of Downers Grove South every day, Monday through Friday, from August to May. Each day, 2,800 students and 350 staff members do the same. How many of these people do you really know? We at The Blueprint are setting out on a mission to see a side of our school that not many have seen before. We call it Discover DGS. Discover DGS aims to find out more about the humans that make up our school through a series of interviews. Both students and staff members will be asked questions about topics that school doesn't always cover. Join us on our journey of discovering our school.
So fitting in is a very big part of high school, obviously, and while I think that people are right to say that's a big deal, I don't think it's like as, I'd say, stressful as people think it is. Like, I think really the only stressful year in high school, at least socially speaking, is freshman year because like new people and all that. But I mean, I think like if you're dedicated to like finding new friends and all that, you'll find them. I really think like you don't have to, like, there's a whole entire stigma going around that you have to be part of a group. I really don't agree with that idea. Like, I think you can like be socially fine and not be part of any friend group. Like, if you just talk to people in general, you're fine, really.
I'm from the south of Germany, from a place called Stuttgart, and yeah, so it's really different there. School is completely different. It's an amazing experience for me to be here. I was really worried because like the cultures aren't that different, but there is a difference, and so I didn't know if like people would like me here and if it's like really different and you have different interests. What we think about Americans is that they really focus like on popularity and stuff like that, but yeah, that's not my experience here. Before coming here, I thought that maybe I wouldn't fit into the school here. I thought maybe it would be really different than schools in Germany. I always saw high schools on TV and in movies, and that made me really interested. I asked about the different clubs here, and so teachers told me about the dance team, and I made a lot of friends there. I'm pretty much like everybody else here, so yeah.
I come from a big family, so it's kind of part of fitting in. You kind of learn how to fit in, especially with different family dynamics. So with having a big family, I think that helped figure out how to fit in with groups. There's been times when I felt like I didn't fit in. It's a difficult thing to struggle with, but it's something that you learn as time goes on of how to fit in, how to find positive people to lift you up within your life. I kind of find my ways of shifting my personality within social situations where I feel most comfortable, because there are times when I like to be extroverted, there are times I like to be introverted. So big family parties might not be something that I enjoy. Sometimes it might be, but other times it might not. So finding that boundary of that buffer zone where I feel most comfortable. And I'm still growing up, so I think there's a presence of groups that are at DGS. I think it's a normal thing to have groupings. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, unless it becomes negative for the people in that group and the people that are affiliated with that group. It's a hard thing to be struggling alone, and that's why I think it's important to try to find groups that you fit in with. Finding people that lift you up and that are positive influences is probably the most important thing. Finding groups of people that like what you like is a really natural way of kind of blending in and finding people.
In middle school, I was extremely shy, didn't have many friends, had a lot of pet peeves. I was really mad at the world. It was a bad time. I was kind of a nerd, or a geek, as we like to say. I liked video games and such, and like mystical creatures. I was very big on conspiracy theories. But yeah, but like this year really changed that. Middle school, I didn't really fit in anywhere. Now I fit in basically everywhere. And this year, when I moved to DGS, I'm a transfer student, I got into acting, which is a very big step for me. As I said, I'm a very outgoing person. I'm not really shy anymore. And I like to, introduce people to people, introduce friends to friends. You know, get out of your comfort zone. It's not that hard to do, and it's really gratifying when you meet somebody and you just have a nice, good conversation with somebody out of nowhere that you don't know. It's nice meeting new people.
So my family just got a house in Darien, so we had to move my senior year, and they wouldn't let me finish off senior year there. So I had to move, and it's been hard, even though Wheaton's only 30 minutes away. And just because I feel like DGS is pretty different from Wheaton-Warrenville South. Senior year, people already have their tighter group of friends, so it's harder to fit in with that. One thing I was worried about first day of school was who I was going to sit with at lunch, which I know is kind of weird, but I did not know anyone. I've been there for the last 2 years, and all my best friends are there. So everyone was kind of more friends than people here. I feel like people at DGS are some of them were not very good friends. People don't really get along much here. I'm a very adaptive person, I guess you could say. I mean, I moved all the way from Europe back in 2010 in 5th grade, which was harder than this move was. Don't wait for people to make the first move, because I kind of came in here with that mindset. I was like, oh, I'm gonna let people approach me. And then when I realized that wasn't really working, I kind of took matters into my own hands. So just be yourself, say hi to people. No one's gonna hurt you, I promise. People are nice.
The person I was in middle school isn't who I am now. And that just goes with just changing and growing up. I kind of grew out of certain people, and we don't really align, especially with our points of view in life, you know. And so I've met new people who I get along with, and they understand me better, you know. I didn't really fit the mold. All the guys that I see are so masculine and sporty, and I was never that sporty dude, or never that hyper masculine dude who just talked about girls all the time, or who always in a relationship. No, times are changing. People are more accepting. They don't see my shortcomings as shortcomings. They see them as things that make me me. I feel like cool is different for everybody, but for me cool is just loving yourself and being unapologetically you. I'm in that process of loving myself and learning to believe in myself and accepting everything that I am, you know.
Downtown
I think in general, we're social creatures. I think we're wired to connect with other people. And when we feel as if we're not connecting, we feel isolated and not so good about ourselves. In that freshman year, really kind of struggled in seeing socially where I was going to fit. I think I needed to struggle through that to really find out who I was. For me, I didn't know that the places where I had some talent, those are the places I should try to go to seek out connection. You know, one of the things I've always noticed at South, compared to other schools that I've worked in, I don't see the social rigidity between groups that I do in other places. I just see the boundaries more fluid between groups here. I'm a much different kind of person. I tend not to be a very social person. I can feel connection with just 2 or 3 close relationships. I'm not one that has a friend group of 15. And I was like that when I was younger too. But I thought I was supposed to have lots of friends. I'm not trying to be anybody else that I'm not. Am I okay with the way I fit in? You really caused me to think about that. I think I am. I wish that I had more time. I wish I had more time to spend relating and connecting with people in informal ways. And if our day was just a little bit longer, it would, but I don't know if it would make a difference. We'd probably fill it with a lot of stuff. That's probably what would happen. I think part of my hesitancy in answering the question is I used to really be involved much more in student organizations. And so that's affected my connection to the building experience, and I have to be comfortable with connecting in this way where it's a very small group of people and not that larger influence that I used to have when I was connected to many more students.
Elementary school, at least, it was very like, I went to Willow Creek, so we were called Willow Geek, and so we were all like the really smart kids, whatever. And so then when I went to middle school, I like had the smart friends, and then like I also played basketball, so I was like friends with the athletes, and then I was friends with the smart kids, and then I was friends with the choir kids because I did choir too, so I felt like I've always had a little bit of everything, I guess. I think that there are different groups. A good thing about having different groups is that, I mean, if you play basketball, it's like, hey, I got a group. But it's like, oh, if I don't do any of this stuff, it's kind of like, where do I fit in? I'm just like, I can be cool with anyone or just be myself. I mean, this may sound like cliche, but cool is definitely just being who you are. Like, being cool is not like the stereotypical like athlete, like always a huge group of friends. Like I said, being cool is being you. So as long as you're comfortable with yourself, then like you can fit in anywhere. I'm really cool.
It was anxiety ridden every day. High school is kind of that time where you learn what you don't want and who you don't want to hang out with, because you're kind of navigating who you used to be as a freshman to who you're evolving to be as a senior, and sometimes that means like changing friendships and trying to find new ones. And I think sometimes students stay in friendships because they're afraid to do that and try new things. And fitting in for me, I think, changed when I decided to join track as a way to deal with some stress. But I think that also helped me to find a group of people that cared about me and supported me, and a coach and a team. When I think about students trying to fit in, I think of it more as students trying to get through, because that's what we're trying to do every day. And now with phones and everything, it can just be more of an isolating experience, and I think that makes it harder to fit in, but it also is the crutch that we use when we feel uncomfortable. Like, I'm just going to pretend I'm doing something on my phone when really I just feel uncomfortable. Advice that I would give students about fitting in is first to remind students that everyone feels the way that you do. So when you're feeling alone, when you feel like no one understands you, most people feel the exact same way as you. And that this is the time that it's okay to feel that way. And so I just wish we could validate each other in that more instead of pretending like we have it all together. Here's the thing, people judge you whether you say something or you don't. People are always forming opinions about you, so you might as well say and express yourself the way that you want to, so that at least you can have control over that. The department that I work in and the culture of the school overall, but more specifically the department, your work-life balance is respected, so you know, we care about each other as people too. And I think when you're in an environment like that, it's easier to fit in. So be more of a person like that, and then you'll create environments like that for others. Yeah, I guess that's how I would say. Find a place to work like here, and then you'll be okay.
Me and Sierra, we met in 8th grade on the cheer team when I first moved to Woodridge, and she was like so welcoming. And then we did cheer here at Downers Grove South, and now we're even closer than ever.
Some days I feel that I don't fit in, and some days I feel like I do, because I have my off days where I just don't want to talk to anybody, which makes me not fit in. But then some days I talk to people and like I fit in with whoever I talk to at the time.
Oh, there's like the really popular friend group, and there's like the friend group that does bad things, and the friend group that studies hard and does good things, and then the athletic friend group. It's pretty diverse. I think my friend groups are pretty all over the place. I think I'm pretty friendly with everybody.
Yeah, I talk to everybody, so I don't really put myself in like a specific friend group.
I don't not talk to somebody just because of who they hang out with. Like, everybody's pretty nice, so I should talk to everybody.
I just don't discriminate, basically. I think I have imagined that I fit in the way that I do. Because I just knew, like, ever since I was young, I just knew that I fit in the way that I am now. Yeah.